Hey guys, welcome back to Anthony's Tennis Hub. My name's Anthony Hirsch. Today I want to talk about the men's singles semifinals that'll be going on at Wimbledon. I want to talk about Carlos Alcaraz versus Daniil Medvedev, and I also want to talk about Novak Djokovic versus Lorenzo Musetti. Please don't forget to subscribe to Anthony's Tennis Hub if you are new. So, talking about Musetti versus Djokovic, this was, in my mind, one of the most memorable matches this year. Musetti, I thought, really played absolutely fantastic. I thought that this match was even better than the Francisco Cerundolo versus Djokovic match. Maybe a more impressive comeback in some regards in the Cerundolo match given Novak's injury, but the match itself, I felt like the shot making in the Musetti-Djokovic match, I felt like every other shot was fantastic. Musetti, just like in the match that Novak versus him played in Monte Carlo in 2023 last year, Musetti fought incredibly well to find a way back into the match. He was down a set in 4-2 at Roland Garros, fought his way back, also a set point down in the tiebreaker. And then he played an absolutely phenomenal level in the third set. He had 11 winners and 2 unforced errors, among other pretty great stats. I mean, he played a really fantastic match. In the match overall, 53 winners to 34 errors. That is really impressive. Very, very impressive. It was only in the fifth set where he kind of ran out of gas, and Novak somehow at 3 a.m., 37 years old, pulled off the performance he did in that fifth set to take a bagel. But overall in the match, the level was just next level from both. I really thought Lorenzo Musetti played at a top 5 level. I thought they both played insanely well. Musetti hitting the backhand as good as ever, showing off his absolutely insane speed, one of the fastest on the tour. So they've had close matches on clay. Every match that they've played on clay has been close. 2-1 comeback by Novak, 2 sets love comeback by Novak, and a couple close matches in Monte Carlo. All of them have been close. This has not been the case off of clay courts. On hard courts, sets have not yet, they haven't played a close set. Not just a close match, they haven't played a close set. All of the sets have been very one-sided towards Novak. None of the sets have been close, but I think that Musetti at this point, it seems clear that he prefers the natural surfaces, in particular clay has been very successful, but now reaching a first major quarterfinal and a first major semifinal is a fantastic result for Musetti. Here's the thing though, in this match, he will face a very different opponent. He'll face a different opponent who is able to return much better than Mpechi Pericard and Fritz were able to do in their matches. Djokovic, probably the greatest returner of all time, He's much better than Fritz and Mpechi Pericard on the return of serve, and it's going to make it much tougher for Musetti. Also, Djokovic is much stronger at the net when he's going to be able to take advantage of Musetti's court positioning because Musetti is standing all the way far back behind the court, and he's just able to defend well from that position. Djokovic is able to come to net and use it as successfully as he has been doing, like he was against Rune. It's going to be very good. For Djokovic, though, I will say, I don't think he's played a player that's going to be as strong as Musetti is in this match yet in this tournament. He's had a great draw to this point. And Rune, I felt like wasn't even close to his best level. That's something that Novak needs to look out for. He can't underestimate Musetti. Nobody expected Musetti to get to this point. That's somebody who has nothing to lose. That's somebody who's playing without pressure. That's somebody who's pulling off something special. You don't want to underestimate that. Just like Krejcikova, for example, playing Rybakina in the Wimbledon semifinals. Yeah, she's been that stage before of a different Grand Slam event. She's had double success Grand Slams, but and she's just been a very successful player, but number 2 in the world. But that was unexpected. Same thing for Jasmine Paolini at Wimbledon. Never been past the first round. We're looking at the women's side. You don't want to count out those players from getting through those semifinal matches. They're already pulling off something special, right? So, I just want to point out that you just can't underestimate Musetti. Musetti seems to raise his level whenever he plays Novak. On clay, in particular, where the courts, you're not able to attack as well, hit the power through the court. As well, Novak's serve is going to be more dangerous for Musetti on this court on grass than it was, although Musetti's been handling hard serves well, like against Mpechi Pericard, like against Fritz. So that's a good sign. Musetti's going to make the match physical, long physical points, especially because he's going to make Novak play on the serve as well, get a lot of returns back. And I think Novak has to be there physically. Is it good or bad for him that De Minaur withdrew out of the quarterfinals? I think is a genuinely fine, reasonable question. I think that most likely it's good, you know. Novak doesn't, especially after what happened at Roland Garros, especially with the extent of his knee injury, probably doesn't want to play a whole lot. But do I think it's particularly ideal for him to not play 3 full days, while with the, kind of physical preparations and the kind of physical work that he's been doing with his body and the match play and the kind of losing that intensity for 3 days might not be so good. Might not be great. And losing that little bit of match play before playing an opponent as tough as Musetti. I think it could be tough. Musetti will be looking for revenge. Is it going to be more of a mental baggage thing, or is it going to be more of a, I'm looking for revenge from Roland Garros. I knew I played really well there and I have nothing to lose. Kind of like Alcaraz last year in the final. But do I think Musetti is as strong as Alcaraz last year in the final? No. And I have to pick Djokovic as the favorite. Will be very, very motivated to put his name right back in the loop to say, I'm in my first final of 2024. Somehow he hasn't made a final yet. And Novak's going to be very motivated. Musetti is 3-9 in general ATP semifinals of events as well. 3 wins, 9 losses in the semifinal stage, which isn't a great record. He has a pretty good record in finals, but not in semifinals. So that's just something I would look out for Musetti. So, I mean, Musetti was very impressive in the Roland Garros match. Like I said, on the serve, he was 60 in the third set. I'll just say this. In the third set of that Roland Garros match, yeah, like I said, he had 11 winners, 2 unforced errors. He won 62% of first serve points. He won 75% of second serve points. And but that number completely changed the fifth set. In the fifth set, he had 6 winners to 8 unforced errors. And also, he won 41% of his first serve points, 11% of his second serve points. So we are going to look for if the second set, third set level Musetti comes out, or if the fifth set level Musetti of the French Open comes out. It's a different ball game. It's grass. We'll see what kind of happens. But that 1-5 record speaks a lot for Novak, and a lot of the things I said, taking advantage of Musetti's court positioning, the return of serve, and I don't know if the defense of Musetti on grass is going to be enough he's going to have enough to hurt Novak in that way. So I'm going to have to go with Novak here, although I guess you could say crazier things have happened, but it would be pretty crazy. I'm going to go with Novak in 4 sets is my prediction for that one. Alcaraz versus Medvedev. The other semifinal is Carlos Alcaraz taking on Daniil Medvedev, 2 of the most just uberly creative, inventive, talented players on the circuit, but they also play in a very unique way, in a very different way from one another. Alcaraz generally plays more offensive. Medvedev generally plays more defensive. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force, fire versus ice. And I really, really enjoyed the first set of their match in Indian Wells. I think it was underrated level from Medvedev. Second set, he fell apart. And his serving was definitely not up to speed with what he would have wished for in the match, for sure. But I thought that he played a really good level. That's why he went up 3-0 in the first set with a break. And that's why the first set was as close as it was in general. I mean, it was very, very, very tight, completely uncertain of which way it was going to go. A few deuce games in there as well. Medvedev got to 5-4. And it got to like 4-5, 5-5 in the tiebreak, actually 5-5 after Medvedev got a mini break back, with a great passing shot. It was very good, and it was a match where Medvedev changed his return position and where he stood in the court, something that he's been doing all tournament, something he's been doing all year. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign. But what Medvedev needs to happen is he needs to have a match like he had at the U.S. Open last year. It was absolutely sensational. He was the one pushing Alcaraz back behind the baseline. It was not the way Alcaraz wanted to play. Medvedev said himself he played a 12 out of 10 performance. It was stunning. And he had some incredible passing shots. Loads of winners in that match. 38 of them. 38 winners in that match. Indian Wells this year, he had 11. So less than 1/3. Much less than 1/3. So he needs to do closer to the stat of U.S. Open compared to Indian Wells. Also serving way better at the U.S. Open. His serving at the U.S. Open was leagues better. 82% first serve points won in the US Open. Last year's Wimbledon, where Medvedev basically got steamrolled, passed by Alcaraz, 59%. 59% first serve points won. Indian Wells, 61%. He needs it to be at 82%. He can't have it lower than that. That's where he needs that. He needs to be serving well. He definitely needs to be serving well. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, Medvedev his return position is going to be different. Unless Medvedev shows the success first, I don't think Alcaraz should change some of the things he's been doing. I think the serve and volley has been an absolutely fantastic thing in this rivalry. For Alcaraz, also Sinner had some success with the drop shot against Medvedev, which I want to point out as well. And Alcaraz could do the same, despite the position being different. I mean, Sinner, not every drop shot worked. Not every single drop shot worked. There's a point, in the third set tiebreaker, after Sinner had a couple set points in their quarterfinal match, Sinner versus Medvedev at this year's Wimbledon, the match that just happened. It was 1-0 for Medvedev. Sinner hit a drop shot, but here's basically, Sinner was a little bit physically hampered at that point in the third set, but it's probably to get out of trouble, not to play a long physical rally, hit a drop shot. Anyway, Medvedev got to it with ease, hit a winner. But there were other points, even throughout that third set, and especially kind of in the fourth set, Sinner hit this drop shot to get on a break point. That's something Medvedev needs to look out for. He needs to look out for Alcaraz doing that on big points, break points, hitting those drop shots. Because it worked for Sinner, even with Medvedev standing back. I mean, Sinner had a positive percentage with hitting those drop shots. It was working quite a few times. So I would just say that Alcaraz, who has an even better drop shot than Sinner and knows when to implement it even more, is perhaps even a little bit gutsier with the drop shot play. That's something that Alcaraz will still want to try to play the way that he's been playing. I will say against Tommy Paul, Alcaraz was playing absolutely fantastic. Really reminded me of last year. The way he was playing at Wimbledon, his forehands were as good as ever. His serve was passable, hitting it so big, which he's able to do, hitting the 130s. Just passable power serves, no doubt about it. The movement's so natural on the surface as well. And the variety as well, which works so well on a grass court. So all those things, and I just don't know if Medvedev's offense is going to be efficient enough compared to the weapons that Alcaraz has to hurt Medvedev, and how complete and efficient Alcaraz is in everything. In defense and offense, I just don't know if Medvedev playing that offensive way is going to have the safety, at the forecourt and at the net, compared to Alcaraz, who also, like Medvedev, has an amazing passing shot. And I don't know if Medvedev playing offensive is going to be strong enough. So I just think, before Alcaraz has taken advantage of Daniil in his court positioning, defensive court positioning, and he's been very good at having good rally tolerance. And yeah, Medvedev is able to kind of have a US Open-like performance, serve well, and kind of, do that and have a US Open-like performance, then I think it could be quite good. But I think Alcaraz is more comfortable on grass from what I've seen, and I would definitely bet on Alcaraz because the way he moves on the surface, defense, offense, and the variety, I would definitely back Alcaraz in having multiple plan Bs in his pocket, if multiple backup plans in his pocket. If Medvedev's plan of kind of playing the way he has, where he's playing aggressive, coming to net, if that doesn't work, then I don't know what other plan he has, right? So I would definitely back on Alcaraz, although I think it should be a great match. Medvedev really surprised and played amazing against Sinner, so I hope it's different, but Alcaraz has had the matchup advantage. And overall, I think it should be a great match. Always excited for this match, honestly. And, Medvedev's been playing amazing, but I do predict that Alcaraz will get the win. So I'm going to say Carlos Alcaraz let's go Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets as well. Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets. All right. I appreciate everybody watching. I'll be here with more videos coming soon. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to like all that stuff. And I will see you guys at the next video.